You've been following the shore for more than you can remember. It's dark and you're all alone. As you think of your kids and your wife waiting for you at home, you are running out of food and water. You remember the stories of ships being destroyed as they couldn't navigate in the unforgiving domain of Poseidon. And just as you are about to lose all hope, a light emerges from the horizon. It is so strong that at first you think it could be a star. But as you move forward, as you come closer, you realize it's coming from a tower that has stretched its hands towards the sky. A lighthouse, a glimpse of hope that saves you from the lonely dark. The Lighthouse of Alexandria, or in other words, Pharos, was one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Not just because of its beauty and grandeur like the others, but also from its practicality and how it is a symbol of hope. In this video, we will talk about what made Pharos so special and how it had a huge effect in Alexandria, sometimes being called as the heart of the ancient world. Welcome. Also, I might not be an historian or an expert, at least not yet, but I share every single source that I use down below, so feel free to double check me, I wouldn't mind being corrected. So let's begin. According to Diodorus, a voyage along the coast of the Mediterranean was exceedingly long, and any landing was especially difficult, for from Praetonium in Libya as far as Iope in Coele, there was not to be found a single safe harbor other than Pharos for a distance of some 5,000 stades. That's close to 600 miles. And in addition to this, the Egyptian coast was shallow, full of hidden reefs and sandbags, invisible to anyone who is unfamiliar with these waters. Sometimes sailors thought that they safely reached the shore, but in fact hit the ground and they resulted in a wreckage. Other times they were dragged to the marshes before they could even realize it. But don't let the name Pharos I mentioned fool you, because the lighthouse takes its name from the island that it was located on. When Alexander the Great became the master of Egypt, he wanted to build a large and a populous city, where the Greeks, Macedonians, and Egyptians could live together in harmony. And while they were looking for the best spot with his architects, he had a vision in his dream one night. An old man with a grey beard and a noble look, possibly Homer by many accounts, appeared in front of him and recited his own words from the Odyssey. An island lies where loud the billows roar. Pharos, they call it, on the Egyptian shore. Upon this, Alexander immediately rose up and went to Pharos. And when he saw the magnificent sight in front of him, a solid limestone standing firm in a sea of shifting silt, he admitted that Homer was not only admirable in many other ways, but also a very wise architect. He at first wanted to build a city on the island Pharos, but due to its lack of size, they instead chose a small fishing village nearby called Rakotis that is sheltered by the island. The Discovery Tour tells us this also. What I mean by sheltered is that the island of Pharos served as a natural breakwater, absorbing the force of the Mediterranean, and it even served to guard Egypt's coast from Greek raiders and foreign merchants, according to Strabo. So, the village of Rakotis stood in that calm, protected place, a much safer and advantageous place to build a city. And the Discovery Tour also mentions that the people of Rakotis never really liked Alexandria and didn't want to call it by its founder's name, which is quite obvious. So they called it Ra-Ked instead, which meant just building, which shows their rightful disdain. After Pharos, the island one was connected to the mainland by a long causeway, heptastadion, which literally means just 7 stadia. Like, imagine calling a bridge or a causeway or something like that just 1 mile. Yeah, so Ptolemy, specifically Ptolemy I, Alexander's loyal follower, also somehow the thief of his corpse, wanted to build the lighthouse. But before he could finish the construction, he dies and his son Ptolemy II continues his work. It's traditionally accepted that Sostratus of Cnidus designed the structure, the lighthouse. And some sources goes as far as to say that he financed the whole thing. But a little spoiler here, it costed 800 talents. Well, 800 talents, what is that? It's 23 tons worth of silver. Can one man really afford that? I don't know. Every source tells something different. But I'll explain each and every one of them. Don't worry, I got you. Now, we have to talk about the best part. According to Pliny, Pharos' magnificent light could be mistaken for a star on the horizon. And Josephus reports that it could be seen from 300 stadia away, 34 miles, a day away distance. And for the modern resources and modern thought, this was not due to the limits of the light, but the curvature of the Earth. I mean, okay, you might say just duh, but I don't think 2,000 years ago a man, a sailor or a trader would say, yeah, what do you expect? No, it's amazing. And at this point, Pharos isn't even a wonder or a lighthouse anymore. Like, imagine, there is no other harbor as safe as Pharos for 600 miles. And just think about the economic benefits of all of this, because navigation equals to money. Let me explain. Before the lighthouse, Alexandria's harbor was avoided by ships, especially at night, because the surrounding area was, well, dangerous as hell. But when Pharos entered the picture, Alexandria became one of the safest and most reliable ports in the ancient world. So, more ships meant more trade, more tax, more customs, and more wealth. Also, the maritime dominance. Do you understand what I mean by its huge effect in Alexandria being called as the heart of the ancient world? We still have so many things to talk about. For example, the phases of Pharos throughout history. Also, the fact that it was not included in the first 7 wonders of the ancient world by Antipater of Sidon. Then the statue on top. Because the sources say it's either Zeus Soter, Helios, or Alexander Helios. But the one in the game is Serapis. Something completely different, and Ubisoft might have made the right call on this one. And lastly, even though the Lighthouse of Alexandria fell, its stones still stand, at least some of them, shaping the fortress of Kate Bay. These are what we will cover in the next video. I promise that's gonna be the last, so thank you for watching, it's been a pleasure. Other times they were dragged to the desert stretches or marsh. Okay, no, not marshes, bro, not desert stretches. Desert stretches literally just means, oh no. More ships meant more trade, more tax, more customs, and more wealth. Also, the maritime dominance. Why did I become...
That cannot be an inspiring journey.